as I got deeper, then I was taking it much more serious. My buddy was laughing and saying the other day, he's like, remember, I think it was before day 2 or day 3, he's like, we're getting a taxi to Sapphire at 5 a.m. I said, yeah, I do remember that.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Inside TCH Live. As always, my name's Ben Kirby alongside Greg Potter. And Greg, you're coming off of a pretty fun but also interesting cash game situation this past week.
Yes.
Before we get into the rest of the podcast, why don't you talk us through some of the
some of the
happenings that are going on within your financial situation.
Yes, yeah, that was it was a fun situation. This comes up a lot. There's always somebody in the room, or at least it feels that way for like every player. There's always somebody you just can't beat. Like, it just doesn't matter really what you do. Like, you can get your money in so good, unless you just have like uncomfortable nuts, like you just lose to them. And that's in this guy Galoo, who is one of the nicest dudes in the room, so it's like hard to even be mad at him. He is my kryptonite. Like, I don't think I've ever actually beat Galoo in a hand, and I've played with him several times. I genuinely don't think I have won a single hand against him. And we get into it 2 times on stream. One where he back raised jams when I was like opening a little light, so I ended up having to let my hand go. And then the hand that is in question, I had ace queen in the small blind, and Galoo, I 3-bets and get a heads up with Galoo, who calls with 7-3 offsuit.
And you're playing 5-5-10?
So we are playing, I think it was 5-5-10-20 in this hand. And he calls, and so we go heads up, and the flop is ace 5-4. So Galoo's got a double gutter, and I have top pair, and I'm thinking, oh, this is a fantastic situation, because my ace queen is going to be good here so often, except against like 2 pairs. And so I ended up going for 3 streets, getting my whole stack in. I think I had like 3,500 in front of me. I get my whole stack in on the river, and Galoo called me all the way down with his double gutter and banked it on the river with the 6. I think I was like an 83% favorite going into the river card, and I was setting up a 2/3 pot river jam the whole way. Went all according to plan, and then I ship it and he snaps, and I was like, oh, that's not good. Like, that's not good. Like, ace jack might at least take a minute to think about it. And he shows me the 7-3, and I remember I was just like, well, I didn't know what I expected to see, but it sure wasn't that.
Yeah.
So nice hand, Galoo. I packed up pretty quick after that one. I didn't
on stream you could tell that I think if it wasn't you, people would have combusted it a little more. But you took it in stride, even deep down,
yes.
as a guy that takes pride in studying and getting better at this game, that spot hurt probably just a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't feel good, but
because like you had your plan, you executed your plan, everything went according to that plan. You got all your money in, except when the 8-outer hits on the end.
Yes.
They're pretty brutal, and many more of those hands to come here on TCH Live and Inside TCH Live. We've got a fun podcast for you. We have one of the more, notable names coming out of the 2021 main event. Nick Rigby is on the pod today, and we talk a lot about it in our interview, but he got famous, I would say, for, I don't know, do you call it overplaying? At least playing deuce 3 offsuit.
He was getting in there with the deuce 3 offsuit, man. The Dirty Diaper, as he has so called it. No longer the skinny. It's going to be the Dirty Diaper from now on. But he was getting in there with it in some spots that like maybe seemed crazier than they actually were. But he was getting the job done, man.
This guy's got stones. He's like day 5 and 6 playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he's in there mixing it up, calling 4-bets with deuce 3 off in position. Like, this guy is sick. In a good way, and you'll hear more about it because it's not just the hands that he plays, it's the lifestyle that he lives, both pre and post main event. This was his first main, and he was acting like it was a $200 buy-in daily. It's crazy. So he's coming to play December 11th and 12th at Texas Courthouse, Dallas, to play the tournament and also a live stream, and more info on that on all of our socials and on YouTube. So let's get right into the conversation with Nick Rigby. As we said, we have a very special guest on the Inside TCH Live podcast today. The man, I don't know if anybody else said this, but it was the bluff heard around the world. Today we have Nicholas Rigby on the podcast. Welcome, Nick. How's it going, sir?
Good. How about you guys?
We're doing all right, man. Thanks for spending some time with us today. I know that you're probably getting hit up a lot just because, in media content world, the everybody wants a piece of what's going viral a bit. I would say it went viral because this bluff is insane, but not only the bluff, just your whole presence within the deeper days of the main event. And we can talk a little more about that. But for maybe the people that don't know who you are, real briefly, could you just give us a rundown of who you are and maybe your poker background and what got you to the main event this year?
Yeah, so my name's Nick. I'm from Pittsburgh. Obviously, Pitt ACC champs. I was rocking this on day 5 when I had that bluff. I've been playing poker probably since I was 16. A lot of high school buddies, around the kind of moneymaker era. In garages, our parents' basements. And then I kind of always just stuck to private games. I'll play the casino here and there. But more or less, Pittsburgh's very well known to have a lot of private games.
Mm-hmm.
So, growing up, I played a lot of cash, a lot of tournaments throughout the years. We're talking fire halls, local establishments like that. But yeah, that was the first main I ever played. I did play in the Win
really?
10K.
You played in the Win, which one?
Win Millions.
Okay, yeah. And you cashed in that one, didn't you?
No.
Okay, I must have saw a different stat. You cashed in, let's see. What is this? Ultimate Stack, MSPT.
Yeah, I was out there for that trip, so I played, I think it was an 800 deep stack.
Yeah, nice. So that's interesting. That's interesting about the Hinden Mob thing is so that makes sense. Spending most of your time in the private games, if of course none of this stuff would get recorded. What kind of games were you getting into in the Pittsburgh area, or what's your current game do you usually play?
My favorite game is probably PLO, 5-5 PLO.
Yeah.
5-quarter PLO.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Once you go to the 4 and 5 card game, it's hard to go back to the 2, which is surprising given the slog that is the main event. 2 cards, 2-hour limits, or 2-hour levels for a 4-card player. I imagine that could potentially be maddening. So you said this is the first time you played the main. What put you over the edge to actually drop the 10K and go into it?
I mean, it was pretty interesting actually. I had a few weeks booked out there. I was going to play the mini main and the 1500 PLO knockout, and then my mind kind of changed. I wasn't going to go out there at all, and then probably 8 hours before World Series Game 6, my buddy said, "Hey, you want to go down to Houston and see Game 6?" I said, "Yeah, sure, we'll go." So we went down there. Obviously, that turned into a long night. We took a red eye over to Vegas, and then I stayed for almost 3 weeks.
Oh, snap! So it truly was an impulse flight out to Vegas after the World Series.
Oh, yeah, and I still wasn't going to play the main. There's a lot of guys out there from Pittsburgh, and they're like, "Oh, you got to play it. You've never played it." I'm actually starting a new job here this week, so I was like, "Yeah, that's true." I usually don't have this much time off of work where you can invest 10 days and play the main. Yeah. So I said, "Yeah, we." So I had some high school buddies and stuff. All had a piece. It was fun.
Amazing. I bet they have a renewed love for you now that you've run so deep.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone everywhere I go now, everyone's I can't believe you ran that deep in the main. And then when I was at the World Series, a Bella Danger was sitting behind me at the World Series. So there's a bunch of pictures of us, and everyone's like, "What is your life?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just gotta go with it."
That's awesome. So people, if they followed the main at all, they saw this Deuce 3 hand with the Kings versus the small blind guy. I can't remember his name, but Hansen, is that what his last name?
Jensen.
Jensen or Henson? Sorry. Jensen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Greg, go ahead. I'd love to hear maybe a breakdown of this Deuce 3 Dirty Diaper hand, and maybe we can talk about the Dirty Diaper as it is.
Yeah, the Dirty Diaper, the Deuce 3. It was I believe it was a 4-bet pot. Yeah, you called in position against Jensen there, who had kings, and then the board comes ace high, and he checks it over, and you just straight rip it with a you got the best flop to turn your hand into a bluff with 3 high. Like you had a gutter, it was ace high board, and your opponent checked to you. So were you just like, I've got the deuce 3, let's go with it, or were you really like taking advantage of the situation after he checked over you and showed a little bit of weakness?
I was just fully taking advantage of the situation. He checked so fast there. I mean, I took a half second and I jammed. I mean,
there was a snap jam. And he did not look happy about it, but it's such a rough spot even with kings, because it's like when you call a 4-bet, I mean, obviously you're going to have the dirty diaper. You know, he's got to consider the dirty diaper range. But a lot of ace high hands are going to be calling you there, and so it's just such a gross spot for him there with the kings. But kudos to you for going with it and getting it done. There were a few other hands that I saw you got in there with the dirty diaper that maybe didn't quite go the same way, but I love the heart with it, especially in like an event like the main event and it being your first one. Like you're just like, you know what, let's go with it, man. So I loved seeing that. I love seeing some old school type poker play happen so deep in the main.
With yeah, that was amazing. With this being your first main, did you? This is kind of a leading question, maybe. But did you ever start to freak out a bit once you got yourself in these spots with the deuce 3? Like there was a couple times where, like Greg said, you know, maybe you called in, you know, controversial spots with the deuce 3 at the king's hand specifically. Looking back, does it feel insane to you, or did that just feel like part of your game? I'm not saying you're insane, but just the situation.
I was getting a crack out of you know, all these blogs and stuff. They're kind of just like chronicling my journey with the deuce 3. I mean, honestly, most of the time I really wasn't getting any cards, so I was 3-betting super light, and you know, like starting day 2, like I was just trying to steal blinds like left and right. And I think the first spot they blogged, I called off with the dirty diaper. It was offsuit. I was on the button, and big blind had ace king.
Yeah.
And the price really wasn't that bad, and I almost folded because I didn't want to see the table hadn't known how I was been playing that whole time, so I really didn't want to divulge like, yeah, this is what I'm 3-betting you with for the last 2. But the price was like close to right, so I called, and the guy was so confused that had ace king. He ended up hitting a king, I believe.
You had a huge stack too, where like you had a little bit of padding.
You had room.
Yeah.
And then the bigger one was where I had 2-3 clubs against jacks and aces.
Yes.
It's just like, all right.
Yeah, let's just get in there, man. No, it's I mean, did you close the action on that hand? You covered both players in that hand, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I closed the. I forget what the blinds were off the top of my head, but yeah, I think it was probably about 20% of my stack at the time. I mean, about 2 people, and I'd already.
Yeah, and I mean, if like both players have like ace king, ace queen, like you're actually doing pretty well in that spot, and the odds, the implications of busting out 2 other players and seeing that instant jump is pretty big, even with a hand like deuce 3. So it's not like as insane as most people are like trying to paint it. It just so happens that your opponents woke up with pairs there and your hand is like dust. But it's I definitely don't fault getting in there, especially when you covered them so completely. Like you still had like 7 million in chips after that hand, I think. So it's
yeah. What's interesting was when I was on the side feature table on day 6, right before I moved over to the feature table. There was a limp under the gun and a small 3-bet right to my right. I was on the button, and I called with 2-3 off, and the guy under the gun ended up jamming. The other guy called, and I folded. I said, "I'm going to let you guys live here," and I showed a 2-3 off. That was the only time
it's a total
I
flex.
Call with it. Ace king was under the gun. Ace king was under the gun, and kings were in the cutoff. I would have beat them both.
Oh,
it was like 6-2-3.
People would have lost their minds more so than that.
So all my buddies were like, "Oh, that was the only the only speed bump you hit the whole time." Was
yeah, you're right. In hindsight,
I heard you on Bart's podcast. I don't know, a few days ago. I don't know when you were on his podcast, but you made an interesting point. Like you felt like anybody else in the spot that you were with the cards that you were getting wouldn't have survived day 1 or 2. Could you talk more about that and like maybe what triggered that? Like
I love that too.
That I don't know, you were in the zone or something to where you weren't thinking about the implications of a 10K buy-in, but more like, all right, I'm not getting cards. I'm about to outplay these dudes.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it was. All my buddies, I've been catching flack for that because they're like, "You can buy in at the beginning of day 2." But yeah, I mean, I remember sitting next to guys and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got aces 11 times on day one." I'm like, I haven't seen them once, and then I got them the first time on day two, and I got a walk.
So tilting.
Like I had them 3 times in 6 days. Yeah, I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm putting myself in good position. I'm chipping up at the right times. If I start to get a run of cards, I mean, it's going to be perfect. And it ended up never really happening. I mean, I came back from day 6 and got kind of that cooler with Queen 9 hearts against Correa, who would eventually win. But I just kept thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, the cards are eventually going to come. They just kind of never did. I mean, I could definitely pump the brake in day 6, but when I got back from dinner break, I was a little tilted when I got flush over flush.
With the Queen 9 hand?
Or...
Yeah, against yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I could have stacked off for sure that hand. He's never folding aces with ace of hearts.
So,
in hindsight, I would like to fold that river. I think that's the only spot in the tournament I was really kind of
disappointed. That's the tough part about this tournament specifically is that it's in 4K for all of time in the future, so you get to relive these very granular decisions that, like in any other tournament, it's like, all right, whatever. Like that was one spot that I missed, but now with the I don't know, the stakes being so high, you know, it's good and bad, I guess, because it's there for everyone to see. What I think every kind of recreational poker player, because you wouldn't call yourself a pro, would you? Because you're about to start a job. You're about to start a new job. So by definition, I mean, can you put words to the experience of running that deep? Like, what does it feel like day 3 trying to go to sleep that night? Or like, what are you doing to prepare for the deeper days? Are you talking to, you know, coaches or any of that kind of stuff? To walk us through that.
As I got deeper, then I was taking it much more serious. My buddy was laughing and saying the other day, he's like, remember, I think it was before day 2 or day 3, he's like, we're getting a taxi to Sapphire at 5 a.m. I said, yeah, I do remember that. But like after day 5, it was super surreal because obviously my face is all over the place and you can't sleep. I mean, to like kind of come down from playing all day, everyone's like, oh, you're tired. The older guys obviously are tired, but you want to just keep playing. And I had so much coverage on day 5. I remember I got back to my room and I watched all of day 5 after day 5.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So like I went to sleep at 7 in the morning that day.
Jeez. Wow! With a 1 p.m. restart.
Noon.
Dude, that's so sick.
That's a grind right there, man.
But it's you kind of don't know until you're in the moment, you know.
Sure.
I mean, like I wanted to see a few hands, and then I was like, I'm just going to watch this whole thing.
Which can't hurt, I assume. I mean, I guess it hurts because you're not resting, but it doesn't hurt in that like you're getting to analyze those spots again against players that you know you're going to see again
the very next day. Yeah.
Anything? I mean, I'm assuming it has because I've seen the blogs and stuff. Has anything else interesting happened since all that coverage for you, like in your career or personally, or what's been the craziest thing that's happened since all this?
Since all of it, honestly, not much has changed. Like if I go to like our casino here in Pittsburgh, I get stopped by random people to like take pictures and stuff, like stuff like that. But like nothing really has changed overwhelmingly.
Love it.
Yeah, I want to know, like, so I mean, there's been like light news coverage about how the Dirty Diaper started, but I know that you got these cash games in Pittsburgh, but how in the world did you guys give it that name, and what was the inspiration for starting to play the Dirty Diaper?
The inspiration to start to play it, my one good buddy Dan Wolf. I mean, he's a pro. He goes by the name Baby Dick.
Oh, great!
Fantastic.
So you can imagine, Dirty Diaper is not going to fall far from that tree.
Yeah,
you're denoting yourself that name. Yeah. So it started out where like you would just play it, and it would just be kind of something to rub in someone's face, like you win. I know our one buddy said it's played like the Do 7 game. It is sometimes. It's not like that's not going on in every cash game, but it's more or less something like show off. Hey, you just got to be with 2-3 off. Like you just play it. You literally play it like you have aces.
And that's strictly a Pittsburgh thing, right? Or within your individual card room or your individual game.
Yeah, around Pittsburgh for sure. I've heard other people say, "Oh, that's called the skinny."
The skinny
out in Reno. Yeah. I don't know. With what I did with it, I think I can call it the diaper.
I think I think it will forever now be the dirty diaper. I think that is pretty well entrenched in the poker lingo now. I don't think the skinny is going to stay around for much longer. It's now the diaper. So love that.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've I would say you've cemented your place in poker lore with this super deep run. I mean, the Deuce 3, the Dirty Diaper thing is one aspect of it, but I think it's even more interesting with the post-World Series, like red-eye flight to Vegas on whatever Spirit Airlines, whatever y'all took. Like, that makes it so much more insane.
So much
and
better.
Then the 5 a.m. trip to select gentlemen's establishments while running deep in the Main makes this like the ultimate everyman's deep run in the Main, and probably is a little tilting to the pros out there that are like crushing the solvers all day.
Yeah,
while you're
they've
like,
been
dude,
grinding the study all week, and yeah, they're getting no sleep, but that's because they're staying up running solves all night, and you're like, nah, man, let's go to the club.
Yeah, let's just...
Yeah, they're staring at charts. I'm staring at
Yeah.
something else, And
That's right. Well, so what's next for you, Nick? You're starting a new job, but what about poker? Like, what does the future look like for you, poker wise?
I'll probably play some more MTTs for sure. I've always liked like higher stakes tournaments, and then I'll probably just still play cash like I usually do. PLO, I play 5-10 hold'em sometimes. I'll be playing when I come down there. I like hold'em, I think more than PLO actually, but it's just the action. PLO is where you're gonna get all the action these days.
And there's more of an edge capable, I think. Like in hold'em, it seems to be more solved, or we know it's more solved than PLO, and so there's a little more edge to be had in PLO.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to a local casino around here, you play hold'em, you're gonna get 1-3 games. Everyone's bad beat chasing. Everyone. I mean, it's just a table of nits. Like it's brutal.
That doesn't sound,
PLO
that
is
doesn't sound
the
fun.
opposite of that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it. You are going to come through TCH Dallas next Saturday and Sunday. That's December 12th weekend, and
the 11th
and the 12th.
Yes.
Yep. And you're going to play the TCH live stream and also potentially buy into the 365 20K guaranteed. Man, thanks for being willing to come do that. I think everybody's going to have a fun time trying to bust the king of the dirty diaper. I don't know what people are going to be calling you, but
yeah, it should be a good time. I have a few buddies coming down to play too, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anything else, Greg?
No, I think that covered it for me, man. We got a lot of good talk about the diaper. Glad to have you on, sir. We'll be seeing you this weekend. I'll be in the booth for the Sunday game, so happy to do some commentary over top.
Nick, really appreciate your time. Good luck out there, and especially good luck when you come down here to TCH Dallas.
Thanks, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your time.